Great, so we're talking, if you go to the assignments folder, okay, and the argumentative essay assignments, at the very top is the say means matter chart, and it looks like this. So theoretically, you've already done this, you've already put in, I should say, the bibliographic information. Okay, so you can use that from your works cited. That's just the author's last name, the title of the piece, publisher, dates, page numbers, that sort of thing. Okay, so what we want to work on right now is the say, the mean, and the matters part. So I'm going to go to my doc camera, and we're going to take a look at a source, okay? Now, I like to annotate my stuff just because I like to know what I'm reading. However you choose to do this is entirely up to you. You don't have to, I suppose, annotate your stuff, but you do have to read your article thoroughly. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of go through this as quickly as I can here, and show you what you need to do for the say means matters. So the first thing I want to do is recognize that the author's last name, in parentheses here, I'm just going to put Shank. And then I know that my citations in my paper are either going to be on page 4 or on page 5, because I know it goes on to the next page. So I'm just going to put an abbreviation for page number that it's on 4 or 5. So that's what my citation will look like in my paper. Okay. So the title asks, what is the role of libraries in the age of ebooks and digital information? So the information at the top is from an article on the website of the Public Broadcasting Service, so from PBS, the largest public funded network in the United States. Okay. So a recent Pew Research Center report uncovered a digital divide in the use of ebooks. People less likely to use ebooks include Hispanics, those without high school diploma, the unemployed, rural Americans, and those with household incomes of less than $30,000. Okay, so these people not likely to use e-devices. Okay, so I'm just kind of making a note for myself. Michael Crandall said, without libraries, the division would be even greater, since for many people they serve as the only access point for digital information and services. So I think that's important. I'm going to highlight it. Okay, so they're useful. They're useful to those who prefer maybe print, okay, sources. It says, our study of library computer use found that for 22% of the library computer users, ages 14 and older, the library was their only source of access to computers and the internet. This would suggest that similar restricted access would apply to ebooks without libraries in the mix. George Martinez noted that libraries are finding creative ways to meet demand despite budget challenges. In Philadelphia, they are placing equipment and trainers in community organizations to make these valuable services available to their patrons at these sites, even when their regular locations are closed due to budget cutbacks. In other places, they have created the old bookmobile as mobile digital centers that take training, computers, and internet access to parts of their communities where there are no library buildings. So they're having to be creative to educate people so that they don't get left behind. A recent op-ed put out by the Knight, Gates, and MacArthur Foundation cited several other innovative uses of library resources. Bookmobiles have been supplemented by mobile computer labs, visiting minority communities in St. Paul to teach digital literacy classes in Spanish, Hmong, and Somali, for example. In Dover, Massachusetts, a library has installed QR codes around town that link signs at the market and playground to community information and services. Seattle Public Library offers live chats with librarians 24 hours a day, getting answers to reference questions and live homework help. Again, more uses for library. It also mentioned an initiative at the main Chicago Library called U-Media that lets any teen with a city library card have in-house access to computers, plus video and audio recording equipment to create their own content with the help of a mentor. Another U-Media space in Miami, workshops help teens think critically and creatively about their lives by teaching them to publish an autobiographical digital story or to visualize their favorite books. Samantha Becker said, libraries are definitely in the middle of all this digital action, both working very hard to provide access to e-reading materials, as well as helping patrons enter into the e-reading marketplace by exposing them to e-reading devices through lending and device petting zoos, and helping them to learn to use new devices in classes and one-on-one sessions with librarians. Crandall said his study found that 2/3 of the library computer users asked a librarian for help in using technology. The ability to use a new technology may seem intuitive to many, he said, but clearly for others it is not, and having a community resource that is able to help people understand how to use digital technology and information and why they might want to use it to improve the quality of their lives is something that libraries have taken on as a transformation of their traditional mission. So I thought that was important. So I'm going to just kind of like highlight that. And again, this is sort of like the point of libraries. Okay. And again, we're like adapting to a new world. So I'm just going to put adapt on there as well. Martina said the Knight Foundation's library funding will focus on innovative projects and leaders that help show what the library of tomorrow should be. So again, it's not static. It's ever evolving. All right. So I just wrote that at the very bottom of my article. So now that I've identified things that I think are important in the article, I'm going to go back to my says means matter chart, and I'm going to go in and literally copy and paste stuff from the articles themselves. So if you are using the electronic stuff, you're going to go to the argumentative essay resources. You're going to go to sources. I was in source C. Okay, so I'm just going to literally go in and copy and paste the information that I think is important from the article. Okay, so I had highlighted, let's see, where had I highlighted? Well, I highlighted this part. Whoops, sorry. Okay, Control C. So I'm going to just copy and literally paste everything into the say column from my very first article. Okay. So once you've done that, I'm just going to do 2 here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Then you should have a minimum of 2 things per article. Okay, you will have more, you should have more, but you must have at least 2 quotes. Okay, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, okay, well, what does this mean? Okay, and I've already annotated on my document, so I might say, what does this mean? This means like some people are less likely to use e-devices due to the fact that maybe they are quote unquote new, and they don't have maybe easy access. Okay, and then why does this matter? Why is this important? So this is important, and I'm just kind of putting this in my own words, like what am I thinking? So this is important because people who are unfamiliar with changing technology could be sort of left behind, and it may make life a little more challenging. Like, how can a person be competitive in the world, right? If they avoid and don't use the new technology. Whoopsies. Okay, so staying up to date is important. So I'm going to do this for each thing that each quote that I have identified, okay, in the article. And I actually, now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to add in the citation for myself so that I have it, which will make my life easier when I'm actually writing my paper. So I'm going to go in and kind of tweak things a little bit here. Oops, I just realized I'd already had one. Okay, so that will make my life easier when I'm actually writing my paper. So this is what we want to spend the next couple of days doing. Okay, and you will do this for all 4 of your articles. So this is due Friday by 2. You'll want to submit it, and then we're going to use this next week to start outlining and writing our paper. Okay, so if you have questions, please let me know. All right, good luck.